What?
I'm
There's
a
gold
Hufflepuff.
stars to be
Thank you.
gotten.
Yeah, secret achievement unlocked. Played air horns.
7.
Look, I'm gonna say next episode will be even closer to episode 10, though. So maybe not 6 p.m.
Like
Where
where
he
he
belongs.
belongs. Oh shit!
Oh, Jinx! We're so in sync.
That was crazy. What decade have you made it
18th
to?
century. No, this week I was actually playing Fallout 4. Not the but again, like the reason that I wanted to play it last week was because I already started the week before, and the update just came out today and yesterday, and I wanted to get a bunch of playtime in with my modded game before I wouldn't be able to play it for about 2 months. So
Yeah, I mean, we'll
so
get to that
mostly,
later, but
yeah, and I've got opinions on that, but yeah, mostly it's been that, and of course, I mean, I can't go wrong without any Bellatrix, but
um, after last week's episode, I downloaded Fallout New Vegas and took probably 4 hours to install 130 mods
only
onto the
four
game.
hours. That's
Um,
not bad.
not bad, but then I didn't play it. um, I started a new game and played it for a little bit, and then didn't really do anything. And then I downloaded it on my Steam Deck, which doesn't have any of the mods that I spent all that time to get. So, but besides that, I've just kind of been playing Destiny, but more so watching the NBA playoffs more than anything. So I haven't really played a whole lot.
Two things. Wait, two things. Three things. One, I don't care about the NBA. I don't. I
Sure,
don't. I don't care about the NBA.
that's fine.
Just saying. Uh, Two, just so you know, you can install mods on the Steam Deck. You just go into desktop mode and then install them the same way that you would the other ones.
It was so much
Just saying.
work.
No. But I'm saying definitely play it on the desktop and mod it. And third of all, did you? So you went through the opening cutscene,
Yeah,
the Benny with the checkered coat.
yeah. Well, I didn't know what his name was, but yeah.
Well, oh, it'll tell you. Yeah. So
Uh,
what is
yeah,
his name?
I'm just
Do you
gonna
know who does
uninstall
his
it.
voice?
I don't.
It is one Chenandler Bong from Friends. Matthew
Oh,
Perry
really?
himself. Yes.
Oh shit.
And it's really
R.I.P.
funny because when you listen, you can tell that it's him, and you can also tell that he has never done a voice acting gig in his life. It is
No.
so bad. It's so bad it's funny.
You
But
shouldn't
like
have told me
apparently
it.
no. Like it's really fun to listen at how bad he's like, hey, ring a ding ding, cat. And it's like, oh, mm-mm.
I didn't. I mean, at least from like the first cutscene, I didn't notice. Um, maybe it
Sorry,
was more
I
noticeable
shattered the
later,
glass.
but
Yeah.
now I'm just gonna like that's the only thing I'm gonna be able to focus on.
Luckily, Benny is a very small part of the game, so he doesn't have that many lines. But Kimmy, what are you playing?
Yeah, I was hoping that wouldn't get brought out. I haven't watched a single other episode of Fallout.
How can you go this long without watching any? This is unacceptable. No, stop. It's on him. We're putting the anchor on him.
Listen, there's anywhere between 2 and 4 NBA playoff games every single night. I only have so much time. That's why I put Fallout New Vegas on my Steam Deck so I could just play it while watching basketball. But I can't watch two things at the same time. And
Are the
Fallout will
Utah
always be
Jazz
there.
playing?
No, they didn't make
Oh,
the
then I don't
playoffs.
care. I don't care. Look, look, I'm waiting to watch it with my partner. And
Aw,
so like because I could have watched it tonight. Instead, I started rewatching Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness because I knew
good
that would
movie.
make you mad because it's not Fallout. So
Listen, I want to say this by next week's episode. I'll have it watched, but I don't know,
yeah,
and we
don't
might not
don't
even have
commit
a
to
next
that.
week episode. But
Yeah, don't
the
commit to
next,
either of those. That's what
the next, the next time Kimmy's here, I will have hopefully finished Fallout
at
by
least
then.
at least watch one episode.
At least gone past episode 4.
Okay.
At least made some progress.
I don't understand how you can just watch
Yeah,
reactions.
like
Like we
what?
I talk to you
That-
almost every day.
we practically immediately reply anytime Kimmy sends a message. I just want to let that be known.
No, we tell you that we haven't watched it.
Yeah, we're like, Kimmy, shut up, we haven't watched it. That's a reply.
No, you know what? And you know what? I can actually answer now as well. One thing she hasn't been playing it a whole lot, but one thing that Kimmy has been playing was her first play out through of Fallout 4,
Oh
and
yeah. I love
I
that.
just let me see if I can
I love
remember
that.
the first messages you sent after playing. You were very upset about the large rat roaches. That was one thing. Yeah.
Uh,
So you have some bruised cats. Is that what you're saying?
yeah. Is that why
And
he
then
wouldn't let go of
and then
you before we started? Like he's too scared to go by your feet?
and then you started talking about not the baton's great. No, you started talking about not how bad Vault-Tec is, or how bad the experiments were that were run in
Oh,
the
yeah.
vault, but that it was a waste of space to kill all those people. And I was like, okay, maybe that's not the point to get from it, but sure. Like didn't care about any of them being dead. More just cared that like you could have done something else with the space. So well, okay. This is the thing. So I was ready for this, and I did want to first ask Danny if you have a favorite vault that you of any game or anything that you've read about a vault. Do you have any favorites?
I'm not that in tune with the Fallout series. Like I
Okay, well
couldn't
that's
tell
fine.
you what a single vault did.
That's okay. That's okay. No, so I just wanted to bring up one in particular that is my favorite, and I think really answers to your question. No, I don't know what 11 is off the top of my head, but This I think really brings it down to, you said that you had an issue with how useless the experiment was. It didn't mean anything, and all that. Instead, I'd like you to focus on Vault 77. Vault 77 was a better experiment in every way. Uh, Vault 77's residents were one man and a crate of puppets. Good experiment, right? Good experiment.
What? You know how to use like the contraption?
Marionette.
Oh. I mean, slightly less impressive, but still a very unique set of skills to have.
Yeah, but no, I've been thinking about the best way to let you know about Vault 77 for a while. Yeah. Hmm. So, so, uh, did you leave the vault yet? Okay, then you have your Pit Boy, and it has your inventory, and you can switch weapons. It's that easy. I didn't want to, I didn't want to call you out in front of everybody, but it's kind of easy. And see, that was the other thing, is you said you don't know how to use a stim pack. You click on the word stim pack
I think it,
to be a fly on the wall when she's playing, when she discovers that rad roaches are the least scary of all of the wasteland insects. That'd be a fun.
just use like the VATS thing to slow down time and just shoot them.
She doesn't know how to use VATS. She doesn't read the tutorial messages.
Ah, respect. Yeah, just go.
There
there's
there have been.
there's
It tells you
definitely a
exactly how to
tutorial
do everything.
that tells you how to
It
do those
literally
like
says
three basic
to
things.
go into VATS mode, press Q, and it would have told you how to do it, but you just ignored it. Which
Just
also, I did say that's the Fallout 4 experience, maybe.
I love the idea of you playing Fallout 4 for the first 15 minutes of the game and being so adamant that you didn't play the tutorial when that has to be the first 15 minutes of the game. Like you're probably
Is
in the tutorial still.
yeah, no, yeah. When you're in the vault, it tells you pick up a baton and here's how you swing it, and then you pick up a gun and it says here's how you go into VATS. Mm. Honestly, honestly, You figured that out faster than I did. I didn't know how to change the sex for a very long time.
Yeah, it's just like
Oh,
a
oh, now all
button.
of a sudden you're reading buttons, huh? Okay, what else did you play besides Fallout? Because you only played for 15 minutes. Are you sure you're not talking about Alan Wake 2?
I'll wait too.
Okay. It sounds like that takes place on a lake, right?
Couldn't tell you. There's a lake in the first game.
There is a lake in the first game.
See, more games need like a romance matchmaker shit. I I I like cozy. I
There is a Fallout cozy, and you hated it. And there's matchmaking. There's matchmaking in that one. There's matchmaking in that one.
there is matchmaking in that one. I mean,
You're
I
wrong.
feel like I think it's good, but I feel like that's a fair judgment. I don't know how it stands up in 2024, but like back in like 2016 or whenever it first came
Yeah,
out,
when it
it
came
was sick.
out, it slapped for sure. Did you or I guess you get back in then as well when Fallout Shelter was released, they also released a companion app
Yeah,
for your Pip Boy that you could actually play Fallout 4 and your phone would be your Pip Boy and would interact in real time with the game. And it
yeah.
was amazing. And then they discontinued it and
They
never
also
supported it.
sold like the physical one that you could like slide your phone into, right?
Yeah, they sold a phone case that was a Pip Boy on your arm. That I couldn't do that, but
Yeah. Pip, PIP.
PIP.
Woogie, I have a important follow-up question for you. What color is your HUD when you play? Like the heads up
It stands for
display.
heads up display. It's all of the things on your, like, you know how in real life you don't see numbers and bars and charts and
Like
compasses?
your health bar, your ammo,
Yeah,
all that stuff. Like all the stuff on your screen
the
is
heads
your
up
HUD.
display.
Um,
I honestly never change it. I leave it. It's green when I'm not in power armor, and it's orange when I'm in power armor. And it's the same thing in Fallout 3. It's always green. Fallout New Vegas, it's always orange. I never change it.
yeah, I saw a bunch of like fun little discourse on Twitter about the HUD color because I can't stand New Vegas's like yellow or slash orange one. Like I
It's
immediately changed
fine.
it to green, and I feel like it's changed.
Fine.
It changed my entire
I,
perspective
I saw
immediately.
somebody who was playing through it with like a bright magenta one. I was like, no,
That's
that's too
crazy.
much. That's too far.
That's heinous.
You know
It's
what? I'm
in
not
your
gonna tell you.
settings.
Why don't you read the tutorial? Do we want to get into game announcements? Because I feel like that might be a good segue to Kimmy's going on and on about how she wants a cozy game and she wants it to be an IP that already exists with
Mm,
good character. Okay, but I'm trying to I'm trying to
same.
segue.
Kimmy, it's a trend. You like Disney Dreamlight Valley. You want a Fallout cozy
Mhm.
sim. You clearly want a big IP, but
And I was
as a
just I
cozy
was
sim.
just reading a tweet just like last week where somebody said, "Why don't they make uh, an Animal Crossing or style game in the Shire.
Oh man, do I
And then
have
what
the
gets
news
announced?
for you? Tales of the Shire, a Lord of the Rings game. First of all, I hate when they have like that subtitle that like tells you what IP it's part of. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what the Shire is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tales of the
I know exactly what
Shire
you mean though.
is, I think, like Star Wars did it with like a couple of their like spin-off movies and stuff. It's just very minor gripe. But yeah, Tales of the Shire, a Lord of the Rings cozy game where you pretty much like a Hobbit life sim. The official announcement trailer came out. I mean, it looks fun. I will say the graphics. I'm not one to complain about graphics. You know, I'm all for stylistic interpretations. You do what you want to do for your game. These graphics are horrible.
Well,
they,
it's on the
they
Switch. What do you expect?
they're horrible. It looks like Wizard 101 or like, like very early computer games, 3D polygon.
Yeah,
These,
he doesn't
I mean,
actually play. He just watches NBA games.
that is true. I mean, I would still want to play this game, but the graphics are like noticeably very bad. Um,
This has happened. This has happened with Lord of the Rings in particular before. They've had like very weird. I mean, Gollum for one.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's just like they seem to pick the weirdest art directions. But yeah, I think it'll be okay. I think you play it for a few minutes and you'll probably get used to it.
yeah. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, you're wrong.
You're
Man,
wrong.
how many times have you been wrong this one episode? Jeez, like,
I never like. I mean, I watched them growing up, but I was never like
oh well,
hugely
you're
into
wrong
them.
too.
I was never hugely into them, but I rewatched all of the extended versions like earlier this year or like last summer. So I guess probably like a year ago. Um, Unbelievable, unbelievable. Like I'm in. Like just I will watch these as many times as I need to. They're like re-releasing the extended versions, the remastered
In
extended
theaters.
versions in theaters. I'm
Hmm.
going to that
Yeah,
once tickets go
fun.
on sale.
Hmm.
So I'm a new addition to the Lord of the Rings fandom. But I just watched the movies. I'm not gonna like, ingest all of the entire world that has spawned from all of that. Does he?
No, well.
Wait, is he?
First
He's
of
dead.
all, he's dead. It's his son. But his son, I believe, is co-authoring and producing three new collections based on unreleased works or something like that.
Oh, interesting.
Could be interesting. I mean, the Silmarillion is basically a book that I think it's Christopher Tolkien. Um, is that right, Chris Tolkien?
Can tell you.
He he basically wrote it based on notes that his dad had about the stuff, and that actually was received very well. Not in the mainstream. Nobody gives a shit about Silmarillion in the mainstream, but within the Lord of the Rings fandom, they all love it. So it's like he seems to know exactly what the fans want, and that so I think it'll be really good for that, but it may not see like mainstream success.
That's nice. It's just a good time of the year for Woogie.
And Kimmy's like, "Blue?"
What's happening? bare hairy feet.
Yeah, no, that's all pretty accurate.
I like I
I
like
will.
that the Tales of the Shire is being like marketed as a life sim. So it's not just like a farming game. Like it's
You know,
all of it.
you create the husband and wife. They have a child. You raise it. It goes to
Yeah.
school. Saruman comes and enslaves the Shire and sets it all on fire. You go to work. You know, normal day
Yeah,
in
it's
the
just normal
Shire.
Hobbit
So
stuff, you know.
yeah.
I
No, no.
I
I
have
was
a
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead.
I used to be now it's not defunct yet. It still does exist and it's free to play, but that is not a good sign. Is Lord of the Rings Online. There was an
Yeah.
MMO where you would just and I played in the Shire for like most of the time I played. Like I did high deliveries in the Shire and that so like I've already lived through the cozy Shire games, but I'm excited to see it as a full experience.
Yeah, I had one friend growing up who was very into Lord of the Rings. So every time I watched it, I was like, I was when I went to his house, I would watch it. And so I played the online, and I played the shit out of Lord of the Rings Conquest. Growing up, that game fucking rocks. Where's
The
my
one game that I played a lot of with Lord of the Rings was not even like Shadow of the Mordor and stuff. Like those are okay, but like the Return of the King console game.
fuck yeah?
That one was so badass. Like and like I would always just play as Legolas and max out everything that he had. You could shoot like two arrows at once at two different targets, and then you take out your swords and finish them off. It was amazing. That game rocked.
Lord of the Rings is such a interesting property because like it's so famous, and yet for like it felt like 20 years they weren't doing anything with it. Not that they had to. I honestly would prefer them not to do anything with it. But now all of a sudden it's got this like explosion of, you know, how many different kind of games in the Lord of the Rings world can we make? And like of course you have like your golems, which are horrendous. But what was the dwarf one? Was it the Mines of Moria one? Has that came out yet?
I've never heard of it. So
Lord of the Rings Return to Moria. It came out last October.
oh,
It's
never
like
heard of it.
it's like a survival game where you all play as dwarves. Um, but yeah, I mean probably the issues with that franchise is probably because they've just been tied up with Embracer Group, unfortunately, for for decades, or not even for decades. I think Embracer somewhat recently got a hold of like the rights for it, but um, there is going to be probably a lot more Lord of the Rings games because Embracer Group, as we know it, is splitting up into three different companies. So, I mean, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't not make sense. Is what I'm going to say. It does make sense. Um, get away from this name Embracer Group first of all because everyone hates it, um and also this makes so much more sense why they were kind of like offloading everyone recently.
I believe they leaked the names of the three subsidiaries. It was going to be
Yeah.
like Big Hug,
Yep.
Hold Close,
Yep.
and the other one I think was like Big Kiss or something. I don't remember exactly, but
Yeah, that's close. The first one is Middle Earth and Friends. They're going to be the AAA game development company. Then you have Coffee Stain and Friends, which is going to be your indie single A, double A games, and then Asmodee, which is the tabletop games. So you were in the ballpark.
I was coming up. No, no, because it's like it's Embracer. So
Yeah.
I was using
Yeah.
synonyms of embracing. That was
But yeah, I mean they announced that earlier. The middle earlier this week, Middle Earth Enterprises and Friends is going to include Crystal Dynamics, Dam Buster Studios, Idios Montreal, Flying Wild Hog Studios, Tripwire Vertigo Games, Warhorse Studios, um, any AAA developer that they have under them still. The IPs for that studio include Dead Island, Killing Floor, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Lord of the Rings, of course, Metro, Tomb Raider. The list kind of just goes on.
Well, and I just I remembered hearing Crystal Dynamics, and I couldn't remember why. And it's
Avengers.
because they were behind the Avengers game.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, you. Oh, Marvel Snap.
No, no, no,
No,
no,
no,
no.
no.
That's it. No, this was
Uh,
the Marvels game that looked really good, and then they said, and it's a live service, and everyone went, oh.
I have over 100 hours in that Avengers game. uh, but yeah, I think this is a good move. I think it's trying to kind of like win back some fan sentiment. Coffee Stain and Friends. The names are so interesting. They're so funny. But Coffee Stain and Friends is gonna have, of
What?
course, Coffee Stain.
I
Is
hate this
Coffee
and friends thing.
the
This
and Friends
like
thing is
that
weird.
is so ridiculous. Like that had to be a temporary name that somebody wrote down as like we want it to be like, it's like the Lord of the Rings and Friends, something that gets people to know that they're all together, and they just didn't update that. Like that's so
Yeah,
dumb.
yeah. It sounds like a placeholder name, and then they were like, "Oops, we
Oh
forgot to fill
well.
it, replace it." But no, the days come when this press release is coming out. So, but I don't mind it. Again, a wide spectrum here. One person likes it, one person hates it, the other one doesn't care. Coffee Stain and Friends has, of course, Coffee Stain and a lot of other developers. THQ Nordic is probably one of the bigger names on here. They have also a good list of IPs, including Deep Rock Galactic, Goat Simulator, Satisfactory, Wreckfest, Teardown,
Destroy all
Valheim,
humans.
and then some of
Destroy
their
all humans.
free to play ones are
Why is everybody ignoring me? One of the best IQs that THQ IPs that THQ Nordic has is Destroy All Humans. Am I the only one that played that game?
I played it. I never played the new one though. Yeah, Valheim
That's
is one of them. And
that's Nordic, but
also
it's not THQ.
um they have some free to play games based on licenses like Star Trek Online and Neverwinter Online. So, fingers crossed that this is kind of like a turning point for Embracer, and that I never have to hear the name Embracer again, just because it's tied to so many bad things. But hopefully, like the developers get to actually do the things they want to do and make the products that they want to make. Speaking of products that
And not everything
you
has to be a
want to
segue.
make.
I'm just gonna.
um,
Ah,
let's see. I got nothing. Um, Another company with a lot of popular IPs, Ubisoft and Friends. Um, the Watch Dogs series is quote dead and buried officially. Um, and I guess they had a battle royale, Watch Dogs battle royale project in the works, and it's now been canceled. I guess this is all rumors, but um,
every company
considering,
has had a battle
yeah,
royale of their
every
IP in the works at some point, so
well,
I'm
the
not
the
surprised by
the
this.
entire Watch Dogs like being dead and everything is a rumor, but considering that it's been however many years since Watch Dogs 3, and none of the Watch Dogs games performed well to my knowledge, seems like a pretty um, believable rumor at that. So there was this thing a long time ago, Kimmy, at E3 when they first showed the first Watch Dogs game. And they showed a gameplay trailer that blew everyone's minds. It was the coolest shit you have ever seen. Like walking through, like I can't remember if it was like Chicago or something,
Chicago.
and you could like use your smartphone in the game and like hack all of these things and like look at cameras, like affect the world just like by hacking. And it was like all
And
stealth
then
based.
the game came out.
Then the game came out, and it was nothing. I mean, it was the same essence of it, but it did not look as cool. It didn't like it was like the cyberpunk almost before cyberpunk.
Now,
Like
hang on. I'm gonna cut you off there because Cyberpunk never met the levels of that, but I will say that it did become the laughing stock. Whenever anybody
yeah.
saw something come out in E3, they were like, they're watchdogging it. There's no way it's gonna look that good. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so like I'm assuming there was never any stories or reports that came out about it, but I'm assuming Ubisoft put together a really good looking demo that was kind of like detached from the actual build of the game, kind of like the same way that CD Projekt Red had to like quickly put together a Cyberpunk demo that was completely separate from like the actual state of the game. But yeah, it Watch Dogs came out and it was a huge disappointment. I actually played the first game and I really liked it.
Same.
Um,
I wasn't gonna say it. I really
I
liked the
really
first
liked
Watch
the
Dogs.
first game, and then I just never could get it. Like the second one, they tried to take it in an entirely different direction. They tried to like be kind of like Saints Row esque, like jokey, lighthearted, really bright colors, a lot more fun. And I never really got into it, and it didn't. I think it got decent reviews, but like it just wasn't like commercially a success. And then the third one, I don't even know how they made a third Watch Dogs, but the third one was kind of a mix between both. And from I never played it, but from a couple people that I know who played it really liked it. Um, but like Watch Dogs Legion, couldn't tell you anything really about it, but apparently,
And nothing. I will say,
oh,
um,
I'm back.
okay. I want to see how well Kimmy can predict this. So I'll give all right. So there is a twist in like the first act at the very like near the end of the first act of Watch Dogs. Aiden, your character is I think it's Aiden Pierce, your
Mhm.
character. He's trying to contact and join this group of hackers known as DedSec, and he has one contact on the inside. Username is BadBoy17. Now, can you guess the twist that happens next? No, you know what? Not a bad guess. No. But he's going to meet BadBoy17, but then a twist happens. What do you think that twist is? No. They meet. Oh, close. No. BadBoy17 is a girl hacker. You did not see that coming. It was like, what? A girl? That
Like,
was I still to this day find that to be one of the funniest, most unnecessary because she's like a young girl too. Like it's just
but
it's so ridiculous.
her name is Boy. How
Yeah,
can it be
bad
a
boy
girl?
17 and a hacker. Girls don't know computers. They do the poop.
But yeah, Watch Dogs is dead and buried apparently, which is kind of sad, but
Rip.
not surprising. Another thing that sounds like it's dead and buried is Fortnite and Nintendo ever collaborating. Um, Apparently, they had talks for a while to get like skins and things like that into um, Samus was like a big one. Um, but yeah, um, yes, because
They didn't
and
used to be, and then the disaster that was the Mario movie happened.
they so, so Epic
That's what I'm
reached out.
talking about.
Yeah, the old one.
Danny, we better just move on. I know what they are, but I'm not gonna say it. Danny, please go on. I didn't mean to open up that can of worms.
I don't think anyone expected Kimmy to have such strong opinions on the old Super Mario
Super
Bros.
Mario
Movie.
Brothers movie, yeah.
But Donald Mustard, the head honcho over at Epic, he sat down with GameFile for kind of like a interview, and he kind of revealed that they reached out to Nintendo to bring Samus into Fortnite, um, and Nintendo declined their offer. Um, and if they were going to accept it, they only wanted Nintendo skins to be visible on the Nintendo Switch, for people playing Fortnite on the Nintendo Switch. And Epic didn't want that, and so that kind
To,
of sounds
to
like it
be
was the
fair, I
end
mean
of the line for that.
that was almost the restriction that they had when they allowed stuff in Minecraft.
Yeah,
You could only create the Nintendo worlds on a Switch. You couldn't create them anywhere else, but you could still see them in other things. So like I kind of see that as like that's been like it's not like a new thing. Like that's kind of their go-to, but Nintendo's so weird.
yeah. They
They
actually, I mean, they've always been, super against, or super, I guess, secure with their properties. Um, like literally today, they like sent practically like a cease and desist to Steam and like the Valve and for like the Steam Workshop. Then Valve now has to remove anything that's like Nintendo oriented from the Steam Workshop.
well, I think it's a little bit more specific than that. From what I saw, it's primarily Gary's mod,
Yeah,
and it has to do with add-ons that have Nintendo assets in them. So like
yeah,
they're actually using Nintendo assets. So like, and that's one of those things that I'm kind of like, yeah, like sure, like I mean, yeah, it's weird that it's taken them this long, but like I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't have done that. That was weird. But it is weird that it's like that they could get in trouble for it because it's been up since Gary's mod has been out. You know, like
yeah.
but
And it's like, why now after
yeah,
like a decade
somebody
of
told
this being?
so
Yeah.
one of the executives' kids was playing Gary's mod, and he's like, "What is that?" No, I completely agree with you. I need something else too. I'm so sick of Fortnite.
um, I am not sick of the anime skins because I like most of the animes that get skins. I'm still waiting for my One Piece skins. And then earlier today I saw like my because of this show, my like half of my Twitter algorithm or whatever is just like Fortnite leaks and rumors, even though like I barely play the game. But I saw another rumor that was like one of like the upcoming skins is like potentially going to be like anime basketball skins, and I was like, I couldn't think of a more perfect skin for me. Like, no, like it's just going to be like anime characters, but they'll have basketball uniforms on and you can customize them to be for like whatever NBA team you want. And so I'm like, this is awesome. So mhm, mm. Spider-Man doesn't, but Star Wars does. What about what about Leia Organa? She is a Disney princess. Well, it's coming with whenever the whenever the Star Wars event starts. There's your Disney princess skin. Outside of that, I have no idea. I haven't heard anything. With all of my entire, I don't know why my Twitter is just so much is Fortnite, but I watched
I
Totally
love
Spies.
Totally Spies.
Yeah, I grew
I
up with
watched
Totally
that shit all
Spies.
the time. Clover, Clover was always my favorite, of course. What were their names?
Oh,
It's not an anime.
it's not an anime, but they should
Right, but like
definitely.
it's also an animated series that was alive for 2 years, 15 years ago. It's
Yeah.
not exactly also
Kim,
alive for 2 years about
Kim
15 years
Possible,
ago.
on the scale of how possible things are, no
This
pun
is Kim
intended,
Possible.
Kim Possible is probably more possible than Totally Spies would be.
That is, yeah. That's never gonna happen.
That's
There's
surprising
no
that it hasn't
way.
happened, but
There's no way that Power Rangers is coming to Fortnite.
you heard it here first.
If it hasn't happened by now, it won't happen, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Icon Peter Griffin.
Yeah, of course, gaming icon Peter Griffin.
I'm so bummed that I didn't get that skin.
All I care about is I
Yeah.
just like the downed animation. That's all I care about.
uh,
Whoa, okay. None of us were paying attention to
yeah, I
where her
wasn't
skirt was,
looking.
but you.
Um, I saw. Speaking of Overwatch, I saw it. I guess they had like a new update or something, and I just did not include it in this rundown. I was like, I don't care about Overwatch 2. I'm sure nobody else does. I'm not even
I
gonna
actually
bother.
I did something that I didn't think I would ever do. No. I since the start of Overwatch, I have never uninstalled it.
Damn.
And I needed to make
Oh,
room on my drive, and I
it had to
uninstalled Overwatch
go.
for the first time. It's
Oh my
I just
god.
I didn't have a problem with it personally, but
Didn't really have a problem with it if it was actually like the project that they promised. And like the fact that like the story stuff just got completely cut and is never gonna see the light of day. And just like honestly, I didn't think you could make a system worse than the loot box system. And they Blizzard blew me
they
away with how
succeeded. Yeah,
horrible the monetization for Overwatch 2 was. But like gameplay wise, I didn't really mind it. I thought I liked like the switch to like 5v5. I like the one tank
that I could do without.
idea, but everything else just ruined it. Me? I play whatever. I fill every game. I played only tanks on in the first Overwatch, and
Only
then
tanks? Is that where the tanks sell their nudes?
I thrived in Overwatch 1's dive meta. I only played Winston, my friend only played Diva, and we won every single game. Um
We did that a few times, but we could never connect on the diving. So we never played together. Yeah. Like I tried. Yeah, we tried to do dive together because I was a pretty good Winston at one point, but it just never worked. So I was like, never mind, I'm just gonna go play Bastion again.
Yeah, I think once it came to PC, I like only played Widowmaker for like 6 months or something.
No, I might have this in my messages somewhere still. When I played it on Xbox, somebody texted me or messaged me through the Xbox, calling me a Hanzo god. So
Oh
at one point in
shit.
time, I was a sick Hanzo player on console.
Certified
Uh,
Hanzo god. What when like Hanzo can shoot the scatter arrow at people's feet and one shot Zarya?
yes, but
That was when you were a god.
Yeah, but I didn't use that. I was just great. I was great at the angles, man.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Angles.
yeah. And the tree trunk size hitboxes his
Okay,
arrows have.
This was actually before they changed the size of the projectile.
We could just
You know
brush
what?
over the
Let's
Fortnite
change.
news. Billie Eilish is
Oh,
coming to
okay.
Fortnite. Is the next festival?
I think that the skin looks real sick for her, but
Yeah, it does. I don't think there's gonna be like a live performance, if that's what you're asking. I saw something that was talking, I'm assuming it was Donald Mustard that I saw a quote for him saying that he wanted to go back to like the whole like live events like what that they used to do. So I'm assuming that means that this isn't a live event. But you do get a skin, and then I'm assuming um there'll be like her songs for the rock band version of the game. And then there's going to be like a festival pass. Like they had like the Avatar one where you could like a separate battle pass to where you could get Aang. They're doing like a separate battle pass to where you can get Billie Eilish's skin. And also, Rock Band 4 guitars are now compatible with the festival game mode. I think it's just called Fortnite Festival.
what? So
Um,
what is this? Is the first time I'm hearing of this. What is this festival game mode?
it's like you know how Fortnite turned into like the Roblox where they have like a bunch of games and inside the one game.
Sort of.
Like you play Rocket League by launching Fortnite and then going to Rocket League tab on Fortnite thing.
I didn't know that.
I think that's how it works. It's they're like yeah, they're trying to be like Roblox where it's like a hub for all kinds of games and then you just like click which ones you want to play. And then one of them because they own Epic bought the people who made Guitar Hero, I think. Um, one of like the game modes is they're like harmonics. Yeah, harmonics is like the people who made Guitar Hero, and they're the ones who would create all of the giant Travis Scott, Ariana Grande live events, the music shit in Fortnite. They now have like a rock band section in Fortnite where you can like just play rock band. But you have to buy all the songs with V Bucks.
Okay.
But I never did any of the concerts or anything, but I assumed the Rock Band equipment would be compatible with it at launch, but apparently not, because it's like was just added with like this recent update. It's like yeah, it's like the same the developers who did it, like the developers who made Guitar, I think Guitar Hero and like the Rock Band clone.
Harmonix was. It's a complicated history. I'm not going to go into it.
It's a lot, you
I was about to do a Woogie explains, but that one's too complicated. I think.
um, yeah, I mean it looks cool. If you like Fortnite, that's the Fortnite news for the week. Um, I think they took all that out. But no, I think they took. It's still like the Greek god season, but unless they've changed it since the last time I played, well, they were doing like an Avatar kind of like event thing, and so they took out all the Greek god stuff and put like all the bending
Blue people, we
styles
get it. Yeah.
in the game. And last I heard, the Greek god stuff was taken out, but like it's still the same map. You can still go to like Olympus and shit. It was really fun. I actually played it for a couple of games. Um, very good stuff.
I'm banned from Fortnite, so
I don't think it's it. Yeah, yeah. Me and Matthew Lillard are pretty much best friends at this point. It's been about a month and a half since I first talked to him, and then I talked to him last week again. Probably going to talk to him again in July or sometime in the summer, and then again in October. Um, we're kind of on a
that's
first name
more often than I
basis,
speak with my best friends. So
Yeah. It's kind of whatever. Um, no, he's probably the best person I've ever interviewed. Just super easy to talk to, super fun guy. Kind of just shoot the shit for like the first 5 minutes of that interview because he blew me off the day we were supposed to do it, and so we had to reschedule it to the day after. But yeah, he and his company, Find Familiar Spirits, have a collaboration with Critical Role. Then they took one of the whiskeys that like Matthew Mercer kind of ad libbed in campaign 1 of Critical Role, and they made it an actual product you can buy. And it's really cool. It comes with like this cool package design, and it has like a lost journal written by Jasmine Bueller, who has done some work with Critical Role and Dimension 20 before. Lost Journal kind of details how the in-universe whiskey was created. You get a couple maps and illustrations from other really talented people, and yeah, I think it's like it's cheaper than their normal whiskey, but it's still kind of expensive. It's like $100. Um,
Oh,
but it goes on sale at the end of this month and runs only through May. So super limited release. I talked to the rest of the creative team behind it yesterday. And so I have that I need to send to you to potentially put it on up on YouTube. But yeah, go check out my interview on the Illuminerdi YouTube channel. I'll probably write some articles about it this weekend. Just picking out any fun things. Um, but yeah, it was really a fun time, and I can't wait to talk to Matthew Lillard again in a couple months. Mm. I'll ask him next time. See if he heard it. I don't know. Is I'm gonna eventually run out of questions to ask this dude. There's only there's only so many D&D slash whiskey questions I can ask this guy.
start asking
Um,
about Scooby Doo.
so we're just gonna start talking eventually. It's just gonna be my 15-minute little session with him, and it's just gonna be me and him, shooting the shit instead of doing anything that we're supposed to be
No, just
doing.
be like, was Freddie Prinze Jr. nice on set?
Well, what was the dog like?
What was the dog like? Did he really talk?
How'd they get the dog to talk? Um, but yeah,
Peanut butter
go look at that
on the roof of the mouth
interview.
makes it.
It was really fun. Um, I don't know how to segue from that, but
I got one. I got one. I got one.
yeah, 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 he does.
I've got one. It's fine. So,
Yeah,
um, just like you
mm,
were running out of things to say to Matthew Lillard,
yes.
the Fallout London
Oh,
developer team
okay.
has not run out of things to say to Bethesda in Rage. How was that?
That
Was
was
that good?
good. Yeah, yeah. I don't
Good.
even think I had that on the list, but that is a good
Oh, this
topic.
is the one I've got stuff to talk about with this one.
Am I being crazy here? Kimmy, do you know what this whole ordeal is? So there's like a group. There's yeah. Yes. Yeah, and they said something along the lines of that they were angry that Bethesda didn't reach out to them to like make sure the transition went smoothly. Am I insane here? Like I feel like Bethesda has no reason to reach out to them.
There are a couple of things to take away from this. One of them is no, you're not crazy. That is very what's it called when you think too highly of yourself and very egotistical of them. I'll be honest, Fallout London, I don't think it looks very good. Sorry, I don't think making an entirely new game off of the engine of an old game just based off of mods is good. I don't think that it's going to work well. I don't think it's going to be interesting, but it's not going to be written by the people who write it's just I just don't think it's a good idea. And I've been following it, but I don't think it'll be a good thing. So that's like my first thing. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Fallout 4. Well, but Bethesda is very like pro modding communities for their games. Like they are very open to people modding their games. Would it have been nice if Bethesda gave them a heads up? Sure. But like
So
were they obligated to do so? No, absolutely not.
so there was no obligation. However, however, they have done this in the past when they were going to when they were going to release the anniversary edition of Skyrim update, which was also going to break all the mods. They did work with. I don't now. This is something that I don't know if they reached out or if the mod author reached out, but the Skyrim, uh, the Skyrim 64-bit launcher is this. It's a whole thing. It basically when they first released the game, uh, the way that it was run on Windows, you couldn't use more than a little bit of RAM. You had to like repackage it as a 64-bit to use more RAM, basically something like that. And so they wrote that, but then also it added in these plugins that could install more libraries of calls for mods to make that weren't in the original mod library. And so like that's a pretty big that's honestly pretty big for both the same developer did it for Fallout as well. And it's a pretty big like widely used and very important mod. Like a lot of mods are based on top of it. They did work with them initially. They gave them early builds. However, I don't know if they reached out first or if the mod team reached out first.
Mhm.
And also, Fallout London is not released yet.
Yeah.
The launcher, the 64-bit launcher builds were being actively used. Like, so I think there's a difference there as well. Like, if Fallout London was active and was as popular as these other ones, then yeah, maybe it would be a good idea. But it's not even out yet. Like, they're going to release it. They're just going to have to respond to the changes. The changes aren't going to be that much, honestly. Like, a lot of times with these mods, the biggest change you have to make is targeting the new version of the game. That's it. Most of them are like that. Obviously, something so big like Fallout London could have more problems to deal with than that. But also, you look at what they're doing to the game; they aren't doing much. I saw somebody say like, "I downloaded a 12 gigabyte file and nothing changed." It's like, yeah, that's the point. It's not supposed to seem like it's changed. It's a next gen update. It's supposed to just make things run better, and which you know, it could definitely mess with some things, but they can fix it, and they can fix it before they launch. So I think that there's definitely some egotistical nature of those devs thinking like. Plus, this was announced.
Yeah.
This was announced last year. Was going to be launched last year, and they pushed it to this year because people were worried about how it would affect mods. So like they should have reached out and they should have said, "Hey, can we get some new builds? Hey, can we get some patch notes?" Like, but if they didn't, that's on them. But again, maybe they did, and this is like being taken out of context. Where, like, I don't want to make assumptions, but everything that I have points to this is the risk you take when you mod a game.
Yep.
Good work.
Fallout Shelter. Okay.
Cool. Well, and not only that, the Fallout 4 has been in stopped development for 5 years. So this team came out from the dead to do this. There's no way it was a large team. It had to be a very small team that did this, so they wouldn't have had the resources. But I
And
don't
it's
know.
also
It,
it's not like the Fallout London people are the only ones affected.
yeah,
Like
everybody
everything
is.
that I just read, it just made it seem like that they were only worried about themselves. Like this kind of update for a game like that's heavily modded like Fallout 4, it's gonna break like every single mod on the market for the game until the modder then goes in and like recodes it and refixes it. And it's just like, yeah, I mean, it sucks that you guys are, taking the time to build out an entire game within Fallout 4, but you knew it was coming and everyone is going to be affected. Like there's no reason that Bethesda should Bethesda is a billion-dollar company. Like they aren't going to be concerned,
What's
unfortunately, but they're
the
not going to be concerned with every single modder that's out there for Fallout 4.
what's the over under on they didn't want to finish this project and they're trying to find a way out?
I don't know. I assume I because you said that this Fallout London was announced like last year, or like they announced it a while
Mm,
ago.
yeah, it's announced a while ago, and then they came
They
out
were
with like
supposed
a
to.
gameplay trailer like
Yeah, I
a couple years
completely
back.
forgot about this until literally this week. So I don't know if it's like a issue where they don't want to finish it, or they're kind of just they're not really pissed at Bethesda. They're just kind of like using it to play up their publicity, kind of thing, or what. But
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, like, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt everywhere I can,
yeah,
but it did seem very tone deaf and yeah, I don't think it was deserved.
but yeah, the Fallout 4's next gen update is kind of a little bit trash from what I understand. Um, like you said, someone downloaded 12 gigs. I think the update is 14 gigs on PC, and it just breaks all your modded saves. And it doesn't. This article from PC Gamer says it breaks all modded saves, and it doesn't seem to really do anything. And it doesn't even, you know, there's no graphical improvements for the next gen update. The ultra wide support is cool, but like if you're not using ultra wide now, like a lot of the textures are really stretched. And the this Fallout 4's iteration of the creation engine still doesn't support frame rates over 60 FPS. So
Well, and that's I don't know, that's something that's just any Bethesda game has never
right,
supported anything but 60 FPS. They base their physics around frame rate. So like there's no way to fix that. That's just kind of how it is. I don't know. I this is tough because I've been this person. I've released an update that fixes a ton of stuff and like updates the code base and doesn't really do anything, and then people will complain that it broke something that I didn't touch, and it'll be like, well, I didn't. Like that's just you're now seeing it. And then the same thing with it breaking your modded games. Yeah, we've gone through
yeah,
this before. We've gone through this so many times before. If you play with mods on any game and an update comes out, you have to be able to expect to play without mods for a while or wait for the mod developers to update. Like it's all this is just how it is, and it's so weird that it's getting such a like big backlash right now. It's like this was the same thing with the anniversary update for Skyrim. It didn't change anything, but I didn't hear anybody yelling about how it didn't change anything. It was just like
yeah.
it was weird.
Yeah,
I'm
I agree with you. I don't think this is like a huge deal. You know, I'm sure it's also like all these things just seem to be on PC. Like, dude, like if you're getting mad about an update or a game launching on PC that doesn't work properly at this point, like understandable. If you paid money for the game, it should work. Get that. But PCs, every single PC is different. So like there's no way to optimize it for everybody. Console players are, I'm assuming, having the time of their lives in Fallout 4 today. PC, give it like a month or two. How I don't know how long modders take to update their stuff, but like just give it some time. You'll be right back in there. Like I'm sure
even
it'll be
then,
fine.
honestly, like I guess some people were complaining because they said that their Steam Deck verified now.
Oh yeah, I
And,
saw that.
and apparently, what these people are saying, and again, these are very biased responses already, but like they're saying, all they did to make it verified was they got rid of the launcher,
Yeah,
and now I can't change my graphics settings. It's like, well, that's kind of the point of the Steam Deck is that it runs stuff less than it would on your computer, right? Like they say it's verified. They said that they put in specific like settings for the Steam Deck for it to be at a certain level of play, and like that's kind of what you get when you play a handheld game like that. Like you expect that, like it's like a console at that point. It has its set level of detail. I'm not going to download the 4K resolution pack and put it on my Steam Deck, which doesn't even have a 1440 display. Like that's just dumb. So it's like the expectations of PC gamers are so bizarre these days, and
it's always been like that. Like they've
yeah,
PC gamers like no offense, I am a PC gamer, but like super entitled,
yeah,
super
no,
entitled.
yeah, I
Uh,
agree, and
but kind of like continuing on the Fallout train, very Fallout centric episode. Um, because of the shows, you know, we talked last week about how the games have been like skyrocketing in popularity. Oh my god, almost 5 million people across all Fallout games, and over 1 million people in Fallout 76 in one day. Absolutely crazy. I still haven't played Fallout 76. I know I mentioned it last week. I went to go download it and it's like 150 gigabytes. And so I just stopped it then and there. Because it has because I like got it through Prime Gaming, and so I have to go through like the Microsoft store, and it takes 10 years to download through that for some reason. But yeah, I mean, a million players in one day. Of course, that's not saying it's like concurrent, but like even then, like that's an insane number for a game that was like probably like understandably review bombed. It wasn't review bombed, but like it had really poor reviews when it came out, and still kind of does. It's like not that
it's not a
good of
good.
a game. But yeah, a million players in one day is for Fallout 76 is something that I never thought I would mention. Yeah. Yeah. It, mhm. Oh yeah. I think I really love this like influx of players into the Fallout games because of the show. Because I don't feel like this has happened with any other comic or not comic video game adaptation. Like I don't feel like I saw anybody like any like outlets reporting that like The Last of Us had like massive spike in players or anything like that. Like same for like Mortal Kombat, like Sonic. Like I'm sure the games did get some boost whenever those things came out, but like not to this scale, at least like to my knowledge. Yeah. And I think for a while, I don't think it's on sale anymore, but like I think Fallout 4 Game of the Year edition was on sale like at the perfect time too. Like they just discounted it across all platforms like right when the show came out. And so you know what people aren't playing though? Everyone's too
What?
busy playing Fallout to play Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
That's
Um
why. Well, that's why they're
that's
not
why.
playing it.
That's why no
Okay.
one's playing it. Um oh my god, dude. This game I I still want to play it at one day, but like my god, this thing is a train wreck. It has according to like the Windows Central article that I like took this information from, whenever they wrote the article, it had a peak current players of 118 people. 118 people at it gets worse. At the same time, the current player base of the Marvel's Avengers game was 169, which is so they had 50 more people playing a game that's no longer supported by the developers and is actually dead than the game that's like about to go into its like second half of season 1 or whatever the fuck. I that's insane, bro. No. This game Suicide Squad Killer Justice League is not going to be alive by the time the Joker 2 comes out. It's gonna they're gonna have an official statement by like, I think it's like what like October or something. They're gonna have like an official statement by then being like, yeah, we're done with this game. But that's insane, dude. Like I don't know. You don't recover from that. Less less people playing your game, your 2024 game than Avengers, which is like one of the biggest commercial flops in gaming. Unbelievable. It's just time to cut the cord. Cut the cord, just like Blizzard is cutting the cord on BlizzCon 2024. It's done. It's not happening. Thoughts?
I think this is the end of BlizzCon.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of,
I think it's
you
done.
know,
It's run its course. Something like that. But yeah, no, I think I mean honestly, after Activision started getting its tendrils into the Blizzard ecosystem, the fan base stopped being as adamant. This it stopped being as active. Like, I mean, I stopped playing. I stopped watching Hearthstone streamers. I stopped playing Hearthstone once Overwatch League was officially killed off. I didn't really care about Overwatch anymore. They killed off everything about it that was community based, and then they still expect to have a community convention. No, no,
yeah, I think
yeah, it's dead.
I think that this is kind of like a you reap what you sow kind of thing. Blizzard went from being like one of like the most trustworthy developers in the industry to again like you said like right when Activision
Blizzard.
kind of got their tendrils in them, they just went it was they fell off a cliff and they fell off a cliff hard. And you know BlizzCon, you of course have like the meme of like the Diablo Immortal phone thing. And that was, I feel like, I mean, that wasn't like the turning point by any means, but like that was kind of like the beginning of like, oh, this shit is kind of doomed. And then you have Overwatch 2, switch from Overwatch to Overwatch 2. You have that tanks. You have Overwatch League is non-existent anymore, and then you yeah, and then like probably worse than all, you have Diablo 4, which is literally had, you know, people have been waiting for like 15 years for a Diablo game, or however long it was, 10 years for a Diablo game. And then like that's how, like, you again, it's just you're injecting monetization into it, and it's just ruining what could be a decent thing. Um but yeah, it's just, this was inevitable. I feel like after the last 2 years Blizzard has had, um, I think it was always just a matter of time before, BlizzCon kind of got the axe. And they say that they're planning on bringing BlizzCon back in 2025. I assume they say back in future years, and still have some exciting plans for events in 2024. So that makes me feel like that, I don't know if Gamescom has happened yet, but they're gonna. I feel like you're just gonna see Blizzard go to a couple of these like bigger gaming conventions, game awards kind of stuff, and but just put their announcements there, and then they'll probably see some success because Diablo 4 is getting like a really massive overhaul update next month, and I'm very excited to play, and I feel like it'll like, in a sense, save that game. But I feel like they're just going to see success after doing things that aren't their own conferences, and then they're just going to stick to doing other people's stuff instead of hosting their own convention. But even with all that said, um, with how much Blizzard has fucked up and all of this, that we just talked about, Blizzard's making bank. Okay. Blizzard is making a lot of money, specifically a lot of money for Microsoft because they are now like their subsidiaries or whatever. Let me see if I can find the exact number. But Microsoft released like their quarter 3 profits, and the gaming part. So Xbox used to be number 3 in Microsoft. It fell back down to number 4. But the bulk of their gaming profits on the Xbox side came through the Activision Blizzard acquisition. Because again, Activision Blizzard is like a multi-billion-dollar company.
I believe it's Activision King Blizzard.
um,
Back in
yeah.
that sweet, sweet Candy Crush money.
So they recorded $1.97 billion in revenue during quarter 3. But then you factor in, integration, transaction costs, and other costs of revenue, and expenses, and you calculate all their expenses, and they were at a loss by the end of the quarter. But still, we're like, I don't know how business things work. I'm not a business guy. There's a lot of numbers in this article, and I read them earlier today, so I've forgotten them.
It's all money is fake. We made it up. No,
Right. Yeah.
any sort of report to investors is going to be purposefully confusing.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I don't. Nah.
But yeah, Game Pass has 34 million subscribers.
How many of those are trials though?
Yeah, I don't know. It includes Xbox Game Pass Core, which is what I guess they renamed Xbox Live Gold
Yeah.
to. So it's like a lot of like um, carryover kind of in that, which is probably not all of it, but probably like a large sum of it. And then as for Microsoft or like Xbox's approach to other games, just to kind of like wrap this up, Um, Microsoft Xbox console sales, unsurprisingly, were fucking horrendous in quarter three, um, which is kind of what you would expect when all you can talk about is how your games are going to be on different platforms. And after this report, after they like released this financial report, they had a investor call or whatever, and the Verge's Tom Warren kind of got some quotes out of that investor call, and it doesn't seem like Xbox is really planning on stopping um, having their games go to different platforms. They didn't say it necessarily they were going to, but Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said that we are committed to meeting players where they are. We are committed to meeting players where they are by bringing great games to more people on more devices. We set third quarter records for game streaming hours, console usage, and monthly active devices. And then she also said, finally, we're expanding our games to new platforms, bringing 4 of our fan favorites to Nintendo Switch and Sony PlayStation for the first time. In fact, earlier this month, we had 7 games among the top 25 on the PlayStation Store, more than any other publisher, which is what we talked about. I don't know if it was that last week or the
Where
week
did she
before.
get that data?
It's on the PlayStation Store, Woogie. But yeah, these are just like she's kind of gassing up Microsoft and Xbox games coming to other platforms. So you can only imagine that they're just going to continue doing this trend, and they're just going to continue. Their console sales are going to go into the dirt, and
To be
yeah, I don't
fair
know.
though, this has been Microsoft's strategy for the past like 10 years.
Yeah,
They've stepped away from being that silo. Like they don't like it's really easy to get Windows now for free because they don't really care too much about making people pay for it anymore because they want to push their other services. And like they're even, they've contributed stuff to Apple, they've contributed stuff major stuff to Linux, like things that they wouldn't have done, back in the Bill Gates era, like they were seen as mortal enemies. Uh, and same thing with like their cloud computing and everything. Like it's just a general Microsoft trend, so I'm not surprised to see them do this
dude,
with regards to Xbox.
Microsoft on uh off of Office alone made $35 billion in this quarter financial
Most
report.
of those were probably off of companies that didn't want to use Gmail.
Yeah, but still.
That's, I mean,
Um
it's not free if you're in a business. That's the only thing.
yeah. But yeah, I this isn't like anything necessarily new for Xbox, but I don't remember. I wish I could find the source, but somebody prompted the idea of Phil Spencer not being this like heroic, you know, leader for Xbox and actually like the person who causes Xbox's death because of these kinds of movements. And I thought it was such a good read, but this was like a month ago that I saw this, so I don't remember who wrote it. I'll try to find it for next week, but yeah, it was just like a very interesting thing to consider. But yeah, that's about it in terms of
Speaking of
this week's
things to
stories.
consider, let's consider ending the episode. Well,
Yes. Yeah, I haven't watched it, but that does sound really lame.
oh,
I
sorry, was you
wanted to
done?
watch it because I wanted to see this AI, and now, yeah, I guess I'm not gonna watch it. I have more time for Fallout. Is there somebody on that show who like a woman who's like impersonating her son or something? That's who I I saw the brothers TikTok like reaction. That's what it was. It's so stupid. Yeah, as we gamers are, much more logical. Danny Bojic Danny on Twitter. Yeah, follow me. Let's talk NBA playoffs because that's what I'm gonna go watch right now.
Yeah, I actually want to plug. I'm doing a podcast Thursday nights on YouTube. You can find me there. Yeah, feel free to hop on, follow. The link is in the description.